Hi, bestie. Thank you so much for joining me on this exciting episode of the Campus Life. Let's celebrate the Ecological Center for Intelligence, who have introduced groundbreaking sustainable farming initiatives and green innovations that are revolutionizing urban agriculture.
Hello, my name is Godfrey Ndamani. I'm the project manager for the Center for Ecological Intelligence, particularly responsible for the non-academic activities of the center. I also provide general oversight for the center's research training and food systems hub at the APB campus. So the farm, we refer to it as our research training and food systems hub. It came about because generally the Center for Ecological Intelligence is looking at issues of food security, also looking at issues of community projects. So we needed to have a hub at the university where we can do proof of concept mainly. Because when we do community projects, the success of the community project hinges on whether or not we are confident and comfortable that whatever intervention we're introducing will work. So we wanted to first start here at UJ, right at home, and set up this projects, then do proof of concept. And once we were comfortable that what we are planning to do works, then we can venture out and do this project in the community, because we want societal impact with the work that we're doing. So when we started at the farm, initially we started with aquaponics. We were doing aquaponics farming, which is a combination between hydroponics and aquaculture, where we are farming vegetables, but we are utilizing the fish for their waste to provide nutrients for the plants.
We have a solid waste drain that filters out all of the solid waste. It is collected at the bottom of the tank. That solid waste is transferred to the biofilter, where it is further processed, transforming that raw ammonia into your NO2s, NO3s, raw nitrates that your plants require.
And then later we introduced open field farming, and then we also brought in the element of seedling generation or seed propagation.
The seedlings, so this is another example. So once they are at this stage, they are fully grown and mature and ready to be taken to the food systems. We have different food systems at APB which we explore, and also to expose to the world students and other students that are doing their experience and also doing their researches as well.
Because we actually realized that the amount of money that we were spending to get good quality organic seeds was a lot, and we had to also spend quite a bit on the logistics. So we felt it would make sense that we actually establish a project that specifically focuses on generating our own seedlings that we can be able to utilize for the projects. So later we established another project where we're looking at now drip hydroponics. We actually set up a very lovely and customized greenhouse where on the inside we're doing hydroponics, but we're doing drip hydroponics, unlike the usual hydroponics where people are using your vertical systems.
Hydroponics is a farming method that uses soilless farming. You normally use what we call a growth medium, which is sawdust or cocoa peat. And how they receive nutrients, the tank that you see behind you is where we mix our nutrients so that the plants can get nutrients all the time, because we don't use soil.
And then we're also doing vermicomposting or vermiculture, where we are generating compost using worm casting to get rich or nutrient-rich compost. I think for us, I mean, if we were to look at UJ, I'm sure close to or just under 10% of our students right here at UJ are food insecure. So the projects that we embark on are essentially aimed, at creating or teaching people how to generate food or to, farm food for themselves. So it made sense, that we first start at home and see if we can be able to do it. We work in schools, we work in parks, wherever there's, public open spaces for us to set up these projects, we do that. What we love is for people to actually come and see. You can read about it on our Facebook page, you can go and check our webpage on the UJ website, but none of it, can actually capture the essence of the project until you actually come and see what we're doing there. The VC has been there, more than 2 times. He's brought, a number of, important people to come and see the project, but we want everybody at UJ to come and see what we're doing at the APP campus, and not just to come and see, but to also form part of the work. Once a month we have volunteer programs where people can actually enlist and come for this project. So people are more than welcome to walk up the hill. We're right opposite the Kilimanjaro residence, and leave their details, and one of our colleagues will get in touch with them and we'll invite them when we have these volunteer programs. But we'll also at some point be starting market days where we open the farm for sales of the various crops that we grow in there, because we also we want all the projects that we have to be sustainable, semi-commercial. So we'll be selling very soon, and we want people to come and buy. So they have to come and see in order for them to be intrigued and want to be involved. So the Sustainable Development Goals that our work is addressing, I want to believe that it's almost all of them. But I think for the sake of this interview, I'll just address 3 of them, SDG 1, SDG 2, and also 17. SDG 1, which is no poverty. We believe, in creating jobs. That's why we introduce these types of projects in communities, because they have within them the capability of employability for people. And then SDG number 2, which is zero hunger. That is why we're actually growing food. We focus on the food aspect of things. We do other things at the center, but our main focus is generating food. Then one of the Sustainable Development Goals that is also very important to us is SDG number 17, which speaks about partnerships, collaborations. We have partnerships with almost all the departments at the university, with various colleagues and students, that are doing some work that are related with our center.
This is direct soil planting. We wanted to show people that you can produce vegetables through different methods. So either we use the hydroponics, we're using the soil, we're using the aquaponics, and a whole lot of them. So these crops in here, we planted them earlier this year, and these are the crops that seems to be the basics that are being consumed by a large population of the university, the walk-ins, and us as the producers or as the agriculturalists.
The second annual Social Media Summit for Government took place in June at UJ, hosted by the Johannesburg Business School. Let's check it out.
My name is Rems Mabote. I'm the chairman of Decode Communications. We are the organizers and curators of the Social Media Summit for Government Communication, which is in its 2nd year, by the way. This summit is a pride of ours. We recognize that there is an opportunity for government to reflect on how they communicate via social media, to learn new ways of doing it, but also to find out from others who are doing it better. By the way, some of whom are in government, and learn from them. And in these 2 days that we're doing this thing, we have put a number of government departments together, a lot of government, quasi-government organizations like Proudly SA, like the National Film and Video Foundation, those kinds, to come and show us how they do it so that other government departments can get better at it. In the room, we have about 120 government communicators, and then we have about 200 others who are joining us online. And we are using this summit to make sure that come the next time, government communicators are doing it better and better, because the reality is mainstream media is not the only player in town, and some of them are going. Newspapers are gone. The best way of communicating is social media, and that's what this summit is all about.
I think it's absolutely critical for the public sector space to be able to move with the times. I work in an environment where I manage a narrative that's proudly South African. And just by so saying, I'm sure many of you are thinking, that must be a boring job. Because to try and manage a narrative that is meant to persuade people's thinking cannot be an easy job. So now that we are in the public space with a dotted line to government, how do we then remain relevant and relatable?
Hi, my name is Onke, and I am the Head of Operations at the National Film and Video Foundation, also known as the NFVF. And today we are part of the 4th Government Social Media Summit. We are an agency of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. So as a government agency, we felt that it was important to support this initiative, especially during Youth Month, where we know that youth are the people that lead in terms of communication through social media, and have really led the world to follow suit. And today, social media communication is really at the forefront of critical engagement, of active citizenship, of the youth, and just anyone alike, really getting their voice heard about any critical matter in the world, protests, campaigns, and things that really need to be brought to the attention of people. So as government, it is important to continuously improve the way in which we leverage social media to communicate, and to really do it in a way that is relatable to people, that makes sense, that is relevant, and that is also time sensitive. So it's been an honor to participate, and we cannot wait to engage more.
Collaboration is key for all social media practitioners to actually be able to work in a uniform manner. So it's and also training as well. People really need to be trained, because these platforms change rapidly. And there's always new features, there's always something new that you have to now know how to utilize it on these platforms on a daily basis. So that's why it's important that we need to make sure that one is well informed, and also you really have an understanding as to the sort of audience, as I've mentioned before, that resonate or that is literally on the platforms themselves, because you can't communicate the same way that you do on TikTok like you would on Facebook, for instance. So the audience are totally different audiences, and also I think it's the actual visuals and the content that we put out on the platforms. It must be in a multimedia focused type of platform. So you need to also talk to a person that is on Facebook but is using Facebook Lite, so that if they're coming to your channel or your page on Facebook, you find a person asking, Guti, what is the photo about? So that then means that when you're utilizing the platform, you need to have an alt caption for that photo, so that a person that doesn't have access to data, they're actually able to know, because they're able to read the text, but they won't be able to see the photo, so that they're actually able to follow with the conversation. So I think also the other thing that we do at GCIS is that there's a segmentation model that was created by our research unit, and it actually segments the various audiences that we have in SA, and it gives you a bit of an idea of the type of people that actually exist. So there's like 5 types of them, and it also just gives us an indication as to if you're talking to an audience and you want to send out a message to people in the rural areas, these are the sort of platforms that you need to utilize. Because I think we all understand if you have an event that's happening in KZN and it's in the deep rural areas, I can't be updating the platforms using English. But you have to utilize, one, translate all the content that you're going to upload on the platforms, make sure that it actually is also, the content is simple enough for anyone to really understand the content. Because I think the other thing that we tend to do as government is use jargon and quite a lot of big terms. You know, like you would think Ukoko would understand when you're talking about inauguration, basically. What is that? You know, my aunt literally asked me from KZN, and she was saying, what are you talking about when you're saying yini lento le inauguration? So you had to, that's why it's important for the content to also get translated. But also when you're translating that content, you need to ensure that that content is actually simplified or is actually put out in a format that will then resonate with the audience that's living on those platforms.
That brings us to the end of another exciting episode. My name is Sally Sitole. Until I see you next time, goodbye.